the bell. Well done. And thank you, AV, for fixing the last-minute glitch. Good morning. My name is Jean Larson. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm your worship associate this morning. Please take a moment to put your mind, spirit, and cell phones into worship mode. We welcome everyone here and, I think, online to UUCR this morning. We are truly glad that you're all here today and hope you choose to stay for fellowship following the service in the the fellowship hall. Not everyone calls it the coffee hall. So, if we're streaming, okay, let's take a second to stand, if you wish to, turn toward the camera that Sherry's got there, and connect with everyone watching at home. Y'all online, if you want to share your joys and concerns during the Lifeline portions of the service, please put them in the YouTube chat in the next 15 minutes. We're really glad you're with us. Our church is served by our minister, the Reverend Jen Raffensperger, but she's out of the pulpit this week, and we are really pleased to welcome Sherry Scarborough as our guest today. Sherry is an oral historian whose recent clients include the NIH, the National Museum of Women in the Arts, and the Phillips Collection in DC, of course. Her 2014 book, African American Railroad Workers of Roanoke, Oral Histories of the Norfolk and Western, was based on a project that she carried out for the Historical Society of Western Virginia. Today, she's going to talk about her new book on the remarkable civil rights leader, Nanny Berger Hairston, who lived down the road from us in Christiansburg for most of her adult life. Copies will be available in the fellowship hall during coffee hour at a sweet discount. You can just swap a $20 donation and get a signed copy of Sherry's book. Yeah, look for Melissa in her burgundy t-shirt sitting at a table. I begin with our land acknowledgement. We acknowledge that our church resides on the traditional lands of the Tutelo and Monacan nations and was later farmed and developed through slave labor. We recognize and respect the ongoing connection to this land by generations of Black, Indigenous, and other people of color. May our gratitude and fellowship here echo and honor that rich history. Now, please join me in reciting our words of welcome. Whoever you are, whomever you love, however you express your identity, whatever your situation in life, whatever your experience of the holy, as you come seeking love, your presence here is a gift. Whether you are filled with sadness or overflowing with joy, needing to be alone with yourself or eager to engage with others, all who welcome all are welcome here. And as we say our covenant, let's remember to hit that word force at the end. We commit to supporting each other with respect and direct communication as we work in community to explore spiritual growth and to be a force for good in the world. Oh, you guys know how to hit it. Okay. We're really lucky today with music. We have not three very talented members of our congregation, Milton Marks, and a group I'm calling either two-thirds frisky or hardcore frisky.
Yeah, it's good not to be alone up here, you know. How you doing? We're going to start with the chorus, and I'm going to see if you can sing it. And then we'll sing it together. It goes like this. Carry it on, 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 carry it on. Well, that's satisfactory, but we can do better. There's a man by my side walking. There's a voice inside me talking. There's a word needs saying. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. We got to change the world, so you got to sing louder than that, right? You might not know it. I didn't know it, but Carrie told me I could play it, so I guess I can. Second verse. They will tell their lying stories, send their dogs to bite our bodies. Then they'll look us in the prison. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. And their dogs will line the boardwalk, and their lies be soon forgotten, and their prison walls will crumble. Carry it on, carry it on, carry it on, carry it on. When you can't go any longer, take the hand of your brother. Every victory is gonna bring another. Carry it on, 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 carry it on. Thank you.
Every victory gonna bring another. Thank you. Our opening words this morning are a poem by Mickey Giovanni, which she dedicated to Nanny Berger Hairston. Sherry has it in her book. It's called We Go On. Because there is this history uncelebrated, unacknowledged, unwanted, that takes place each Sunday in church, each Saturday at the juke joint, and every day of the week when we try to make a house a home. No one wants to understand the faith it takes to be a mother, a grandmother, a pillar of a distressed community. No one wants to understand the courage it takes to be a deacon, a janitor, a miner in the crumbling mines. Yet neither our fate nor our faith can reside in the hands of those who don't care, of those who let greed be their God, of those who tear down our meeting halls, burn down our churches, laugh at our steadfastness, and say, "Oh, I'm sorry," when caught in a web of lies. We go on answering a trumpet call, following the living Savior, hoping for a better tomorrow. We go on because of the strength of our soldiers, the righteousness of our battle, the need of the saved to prevail over the damned. We go on. Because we have good men and women, good boys and girls, good people who want this history others would destroy to live. That was in Nikki's 2007 book, Acolytes. So we now join with Unitarian Universalist congregation across the nation and world as we light our chalice, the symbol of our faith and the beacon of hope within our living tradition. Inspire us to use our powers to heal and not to harm, to help and not to hinder, to bless and not to curse, to serve you, O Spirit of life.
Hello, hello. My name is Jessie McEwen. I use they, them pronouns, and I want to invite up all of our young people, if you're young at heart and you want to come hear a story, come on up. And like I always do when I start a story, I'm going to ask a question. What are these? Keys with some air tags on them, yes, because I tend to lose my keys. So I have, how many keys do you think are here? 13? That's very specific. 5? Somewhere between 5 and 13? 4? 10,000? Sometimes it feels like 10,000, I'll be honest. What do you think this might be the key to? Oh, no, this is not the key to my house. So the ones on the green one are keys to here. Yeah, I got lots of keys, y'all. So what do you think this opens? The door. This opens the door. What do you think this key opens? Nope, it's a key to this church somewhere. What you got? The other door. The door that's more door than the outside door? Okay, so I'm going to switch key rings. What do you think this key opens? It's a little bitty. What you got? I'm going to hold it. You tell me what you think it opens. Another kind of door. Yeah, you guys are picking it up. What do you think it opens? Nope, not a car door. Nope, these are my personal keys. This opens my mailbox. Oh, yeah. You didn't think that I had a key to my mailbox, did you? So I have so many keys, and each key opens something specific. Sometimes it's a big thing. This key opens this entire church building. That's pretty big. Sometimes it's a little thing. Sometimes it's my mailbox and my packages don't even fit in. But every key opens something, and behind those doors are stories. Now, I want to tell you about 2 people. One is Miss Sherry, who's here today, and one is the woman that she's going to talk about. Without both of these people, we wouldn't know a lot of stories. And we're going to talk a little bit about what oral history is when we go upstairs. But they, both the person who tells the story and the person who lives the story, are the keys that unlock us knowing things about, what do you think? Them. About what else? The doors. Oh, we're stuck on doors, y'all. History. She did so much to make the world a better place for other people. And you know what my favorite part of Nanny Berger Harrison's story is that she got an award, and she was nominated by 3rd graders for that award. So we're going to talk a little bit about how our keys can keep telling stories, about how when we learn people's stories and tell those stories, and we create oral history, we can unlock doors to the past. We can also talk a little bit about how we can make our own keys while we do some art projects. You ready to head upstairs? Yeah. Let's do it.
Good morning. I'm so pleased that the children's message preceded my sermon this morning, because Nanny Hairston had a special place in her heart for children, and my book is actually dedicated to children. Imagine this story, if you will. You were born black and female in deep Appalachia in the American South in the early 20th century, just 50 some odd years beyond the end of the Civil War and slavery. You moved from town to town because your father is a coal miner and worked in mines without unions. You were bused to a segregated one-room schoolhouse where you had to wait in the cold, coming and going. You lived through the Great Depression. You graduate from high school, marry, and start raising your children. Your husband is a coal miner and loses his job. So you move to another area in the South and know no one. The area is very restrictive. You can't eat in most of the restaurants. You can't go to the movies. Your children are sent to a segregated school with old textbooks, and you only have the lowest paid jobs available to you. You know your place. And yet, because of your background and how you were taught to love, not hate, and get involved and give back to your community, you become a leader and a pillar of that community. You advocate for change and civil rights and opportunities for all. You raise a family who also grow up to fight for civil rights and social justice. You have a bust carved in your likeness and placed in the county's government center. You become friends with mayors and senators, visit the White House, and receive letters from governors and even presidents. You become an icon, sought after for your advice and beloved by blacks and whites, young and old, Democrats and Republicans, men and women, preachers and sinners, office holders and newcomers, rich and poor. Your voice is the voice for love, a voice this country so desperately needs right now. This is the story of Nanny Berger Hairston. There is not time today to go into the detail that I do in the book about the different phases of Mrs. Hairston's life, but I'd like to try and unpack the overarching story I just laid out with some dates and definition, and then pull out some of the factors or tenets that helped her become such a powerful leader and icon. Nanny Berger was born in 1921 and grew up in the coal camps of West Virginia. She married her husband, John Hairston, in 1941 and spent her early married life in those same coal camps, while John, her true partner in all of her life's activities, worked in the coal mines and also served his country in World War II and Korea. They moved to Christiansburg in 1953 when the coal mines closed, and they bought a home on a hill and raised their 4 daughters. They arrived at the height of Jim Crow and became agents of change for civil rights through joining local branches of national organizations such as the NAACP and the Democratic Party, while maintaining a multi-generational household that included Nanny's parents, their daughters, and many times included other family members and even members of the community, such as African American students from Virginia Tech who'd been accepted to the college but were not allowed to live on campus. Unfortunately, there were only a few types of work that were available to her because of her race. She worked briefly as a maid, a factory worker, an insurance agent, and finally she was hired at the Radford Army Ammunition Plant, where she was an active union member and retired after 20 years in 1983. She told me about the segregated lunch counters she couldn't take her children to, the fact that her third daughter, born in 1953, the year they moved to Christiansburg, had to be brought to her in the black women's ward, where there was no privacy and she worried about diseases being present. She told me about a time when she was going door to door with her young daughter, handing out leaflets for a local Democratic candidate, in the cold and in the rain, and after first being refused service, she then was ushered into a separate area where other customers couldn't see her. And this was in 1972. As she told me many times, always remember this: where you could go, I couldn't. Over this period of time, from 1953 to the early 80s, while the Hairstons worked for social justice through their church and grassroots organizations, they broke many color barriers. They became respected leaders in the community, and their home became a gathering place for politicians seeking the Hairstons' approval and approbation, for local office holders seeking advice, for young and upcoming African Americans seeking to find their way and ways in which to contribute. John and Nanny Hairston each won many accolades, awards, and honors. At Mrs. Hairston's death in July of 2017, some of the words used to memorialize her at the time were queenly, freedom fighter, civil rights icon, and my own missionary of love and social justice. How did they do it? How did she do it? And under such great odds, with so many challenges while raising a family, working and being involved, and indeed a leader in so many organizations. Tenet number 1, love. Although her childhood in West Virginia in the 1920s was marked by a time of heightened racism and violence against African Americans, and in addition, she was only about 10 years old when the Great Depression began, she remembers her childhood fondly, especially the love she was taught and was surrounded by at home, her church, and her community. It was a love that nurtured and protected her, so that she had the courage to imagine and hope for her future. One of Mrs. Hairston's mottos was, "If you can't do it out of love, you need to stop." She learned that from her family, and she put it into action. Quote, "We couldn't go in hotels and sleep. We couldn't go in to eat in the restaurant that would serve you. You knew you couldn't sit down. You could go in and buy and come out, but some wouldn't even sell to you. That's the way I look at life. If you haven't been taught to love instead of hate, you would have a miserable life going through the world hating people for what they have done and what they have done to your grandparents and your great-grands. But I happen to be fortunate enough to have parents that didn't carry that hate. What was passed on to us has been a beautiful life for me and for my children," unquote. Nanny Hairston was given a strong foundation so that she could create a strong foundation for her own children and for the less fortunate in her community as an adult. Tenet number 2, community. Nanny Hairston was taught that wherever you move, be a part of the community. Boy, did she take that to heart. In Christiansburg, the Hairstons immediately joined Schaefer Memorial Baptist Church, the local NAACP, the local Democratic Party, the PTA, and later the Virginia Council on Human Relations, where they were trained in nonviolent resistance. She joined the Montgomery County League of Women Voters, of which she was a founding member, and the local chapter of the United Way. They both served on many boards, with the Christiansburg Community Center Board being one that they served on until the end of their lives and was close to their hearts. Both John and Nanny Hairston held leadership positions with the NAACP and the Democratic Party. John was a delegate to the National Convention twice, and Nanny was a delegate in 1988 and an alternate delegate in 1980. They were members of the National Black Caucus, an organization that included figures such as Julian Bond, Andrew Young, and Coretta Scott King. Nanny Hairston was also, importantly, one of the Montgomery County campaign managers for Jesse Jackson when he ran for president in 1984 and 1988. Tenet number 3, values. One of the jobs Nanny Hairston had in Christiansburg in the early 1960s, when good-paying jobs were denied to African Americans because of race, was as a seamstress at the Christiansburg Garment Factory. Not only did she get a job there after being told that the company didn't hire blacks, but she brought in numerous friends and they got jobs there as well. She told me about an incident that exemplifies her belief in fairness and working toward a goal of equality, even if the odds are stacked against you. There was a company picnic coming up, and the manager told them they could not come because they were black. Quote, "So I go back to Miss Jones and all the other women that I can't remember their names now. Most of them are dead. I said, he's going to give us money for however many are in our family where we can go and have our own picnic. And I told them whatever the amount it was, and one of them said, "Oh boy, we'll have a good time. That's a lot of money, isn't it?" I said, "Yes, but our purpose is not for that. We came here to get a job and to work and try to help take care of our family. And we didn't come here for this. If they would allow us to go to the picnic, it would be fine. But to have it like they have it, I don't want it. I don't want the money, and I could use it." And one of the ladies said, "Oh, we'll just take the man's money. We don't care." I said, "Well, you think about it. Do you want to help yourself for tomorrow or just for today?" When they came back, I said, "We have to give him an answer. Mr. Phillips has to have an answer." They said, "Well, since you got us the jobs here, I guess we'll go along with you." And it ended up that we didn't go to the picnic, and the next year they had it, so we could go to the picnic with them, unquote. Tenet number 4, grace. Nanny Hairston's belief in God and her Christian faith were central in her life. And since I'm giving a sermon today, I decided to tell this story. She told me about a time of possible divine interference or intervention when the local NAACP and other concerned citizens joined together to protest a march by the Ku Klux Klan in downtown Christiansburg in 1986. Quote, "They were going to march, and by the time we got to where they were going to march, it was just as pretty as that light sunshine, as that light shining over there. And by the time they got on Roanoke Street and lined up to march, a clap of thunder came. Then all at once, sweetheart, it just started raining, and everybody ran and got into their cars, and that was the end of that." It doesn't seem real, but that's what happened right here on Roanoke Street, and they haven't been back to Montgomery County to march since, unquote. And she might have added, "Praise the Lord." John and Nanny Hairston were coalition and bridge builders. They believed in and tried to help create, in their own world, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s vision of the beloved community, a society governed not by violence or conflict, but by love. The years between 1954 and 1965 have been called the heroic age of the civil rights movement. The Hairstons were foot soldiers in that movement who believed in the ideals of equality, liberty, and justice for all, who believed in the promise of America and worked to make it real. She was one of the many activists across the country who worked quietly behind the scenes, sat through hundreds of hours of meetings, helped raise money for worthy causes, mentored and tutored, licked thousands of envelopes, gave speeches, voted, took people to vote, and spoke to business owners, mayors, senators, and governors. Her story is important to see how the civil rights movement worked to make major changes throughout the country over several decades. And her story helps tell the importance of women's role in that movement. My book is Nanny Hairston's personal story, a life filled with love, heartache, achievements, difficulties, happy moments, and tragedy, as is true in any life. But as she was an African-American woman living in the South who came of age during the middle of the 20th century, the story also includes the challenges of living under the racist restrictions of Jim Crow and the valiant struggle for equal rights. It is my hope that her story shows that the struggle for equality and social justice was fought on many fronts, including right here in Southwest Virginia, and by a woman who believed in the power of love. Her legacy is not just important here, though. It is also felt at the national level, where her actions led to a more equal and just society. However, the fight in this country to form a more perfect union, based on the values our country was founded on, is not over. My hope is that Nanny Berger Hairston's life story can stand as a role model for all of us living in this challenging time, and her words can help point us in the direction of love and action. She set the bar high, but left us a clear path. Thank you. Thank you for your attention. And a special thank you to Jean Larson for the invitation.
Hands reaching through cracks in the wall, sharing the bread of life. Raising up the hopes and dreams of the travelers gathered there. Their hands are tearing down that wall. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls of hate and fear. Build a new world. Build a new world of justice and peace. Our hands can tear down the walls. The broken souls gathered here are running from violence and hate. Travelers trying to find a place where they can live in peace. Our hands can tear down these walls. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls of hate and fear. Build a new world. Build a new world of justice and peace. Our hands can tear down the walls. It looks like there's nothing we can do to heal this broken world. But by God's grace and the Spirit's breath, there's nothing we can't do. Together we can tear down the walls. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls. Tear down the walls of hate and fear. Build a new world. Build a new world of justice and peace. Our hands can tear down the walls. Our hands can tear down the walls.
Thank you, Milt. Thank you, Sherry. We come now to that time in our service each week when we invite you into generosity. The work of this community is only possible with your generous contributions to our ongoing work to keep love at the center of all that we do. The ushers will now take up the offering.
Close enough for jazz, I guess, right? kind friends all gathered round. There's something I would say. What brings us together here has blessed us all today. Love has made a circle that holds us all inside, where strangers are as family and loneliness can hide. But you must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after. Open up your hearts to the tears and the laughter, and just give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
I've walked these mountains in the rain. I've learned to love the wind. Been up on the sunrise to watch the day begin. I always knew I'd find you, though I never did know how. The sunshine on a cloudy day, you stand before me now. You must give yourself to love, if love is what you're after.
Open up your hearts to the tears and the laughter, and just give yourself to love. Give yourself to love.
Love is born in fire. I'm planted like a seed. Love can't give you everything, but it'll give you what you need. Love comes when you're ready. Love comes when you are afraid. It'll be your greatest teacher, the best friend you have made.
You must
Give yourself to love, if love is what you're after.
open up your hearts to the tears and laughter, and just give yourself to love. Give yourself to love, and give yourself to love.
Give yourself to love.
Thank you for all that you give, your treasure, your time, and your talents. And your committee work. Jane Harrison is here to report from our caring committee.
I know I'm doing this a public service announcement over and over again, but I'm Jane Harrison from the Caring Committee. And if you have a joy or concern you want to share with the congregation, you can either write it in the Lifelines book, which we have on the altar on Sunday mornings. The rest of the week it sits out next to the name tags. Or you can contact somebody from the Caring Committee or leave a message in the office. Let us enter into this time together, and today there are no real joys or concerns, which is a blessing. However, the Caring Committee wishes to make a little public announcement that if we have a number of issues going on right now, and if you're able to cook a meal, drive somebody to an appointment, would you please let Sally Garber know? She's the chairman of the Caring Committee, because we have a number of needs at this time. If you have a joy or concern that's in your heart and you want to light a candle, please come forward now and using both sides of the altar.
one candle of hope. Light shines out in the darkness. Darkness will never put it out. After the long dark night, the morning sun will shine. Light one candle, one candle of hope. Plant just one seed of peace. Plant it deep within your heart. Let holy waters flow. Holy seed will grow and burst forth into bloom. Plant just one seed of peace. Touch just one heart with the gift of love. Spirit of life, like holy dove, will descend from above. Hearts will be mended, life will be renewed. Touch just one heart with the gift of love. Light one candle, one candle of love.
I will light 2 more candles this morning. The first one is for the ancestors, the indigenous, the hopeful immigrants, the immigrants in great distress, and the people who were kidnapped and brought here by brute force. And the second candle, as every week, I light for our friends who are with us digitally. I now invite you into one moment of silent meditation. Be comfortable, be grounded, be here. And now, as we draw close to the end of our time together in worship this week, we turn our attention from our own community and our joys and concerns, and we prepare to engage with the world in the week ahead. We'll begin with a few announcements. Did you know that if everyone in church right now volunteered one Sunday a week in the nursery or upstairs with the kids, you would only need to volunteer once a year? We need kind folks from all walks of life to help us foster and encourage our youngest UUs. If you can help out on 1 or 2 or even 3 Sundays a year, please consider snapping the QR code, I guess that's on the order of service, or visiting the website posted on the piano in the fellowship hall or on the rainbow table in the lobby. We have an immediate need, so if you can help sooner rather than later, we would love to hear from you. On Saturday, October 4th at 3 p.m., we will hold a Blessing of the Animals service outdoors in the Memorial Garden, out front, I guess. Your well-behaved, leashed, or otherwise contained pet is welcome. For those of you who have pets that don't travel well, please bring a photo to be blessed. You can also bring a photo or a memento from a beloved animal companion who has died. On Sunday, October 5th, our Shared Ministry Committee will be holding a listening service at 12:30 p.m. in the sanctuary. The committee wants to hear your thoughts, ideas, hopes, as we continue to move forward toward calling Rev Jen to serve as our settled minister. So come and speak up. If you're new to UU, there will be another session of our U and UU, get ready for the puns, introductory class on Wednesday, October 15th at 6 p.m. The class will be in the Olin room down at the far end of that hall and will run for 1 hour. And we have a bonus announcement today. AV has a cool short video. They said it was cool. It's got to be cool, right? That they're going to show after the benediction. So you might want to kind of linger in your chair for just a few minutes and watch, and then you can rush off to the coffee. Okay. More announcements can be found in the weekly email newsletter, which I actually read. I recommend it. If you're not getting it and you would like to, just zap a line to admin, A-D-M-I-N, at uuroanoke.org. So, as we began our service today, we close now by joining Unitarian Universalist congregations across the nation and the world in extinguishing the chalice here in our sanctuary, knowing that the flame of our faith is carried within our hearts and into the week ahead.
I want to thank Hardcore Still Frisky. Don't you love that name, Still Frisky? I like that. The Hardcore, that sounds better. They're going to do a heavy metal album here in a couple of weeks and have it out for you. Thank you for being with me here. Thank you for Nanny Berger, amen, for cracking down some walls. And now we're going to leave here and we're going to break down some walls. We're going to touch hearts and change lives. There is more love somewhere. There's more love somewhere. I'm going to keep on till I find it. There's more love somewhere. Let's sing it together.
And stand.
Let's stand, yeah. If you're not afraid, you can hold the hands of the folks beside of you. I say that because of the pandemic, but we're open to all forms of everything, right? You know, even old Methodist preacher, they let him sing in church. Amazing. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. There is more hope somewhere.
is more hope somewhere.
There is
There is
more
more peace somewhere.
There is more peace
somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more joy somewhere.
There is more joy somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it.
There is more joy somewhere.
I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna keep on. Now you've got to do that next, okay, right? Don't do it. Try it. I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna keep on, I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more joy somewhere. Very good. Thank you.
Yeah. So, our benediction this morning is a few words from Nanny Berger Hairston. Sit if you want, it's cool. As Sherry Scarborough recorded them. To make this world a better place, let it begin with me. Whatever you choose to, now it's Jean, whatever you choose to stand up for, remember Nanny Berger Hairston as you do so. Go in peace and keep the faith. You want your water? I think I'm going to move and actually watch the video, whatever it is. So, yeah.
The time is now. The place, a stuffy meeting room, a small church in a medium-sized city, nestled into a fold of the majestic Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia. The people in that room, the minister and the board of the Unitarian Universalist Church of Roanoke, don't realize it yet, but they are about to enter the auction zone.
We have a budget. It's big. It's beautiful. It's the most beautiful bill ever. It's the big, beautiful budget.
But we don't have enough dough.
Oh my God! It's up to us. We must save ourselves.
We must save ourselves.
We must eat and drink and spend our way to fiscal health. We will have an auction.
We must eat and drink and spend our way to health.
We will have an auction.
Yay!
So, here we are. The time is now, and time is money. A penny for your thoughts, and $1 down and $1 a day. A penny saved is a penny earned, but money can't buy me love, though it can purchase a cheap imitation. Your loving gives us a thrill, but your loving don't pay the church bills. Money is the root of all evil, but the money tree bears useful fruit. A church and its money are soon parted, and there's no such thing as a free lunch. So let the bidding begin in the auction zone.
Written by, there we go, Betsy and Bob. Wow. God, what a brilliant thing that was, huh?